Hello and welcome to chapter 13 of Fred, Wizard in Training. Sadly, this is the final chapter of this book, but I just want to say thanks for sticking with me, putting up with my ridiculous attempts at voices, and coming along for the journey of Fred's adventure. I hope that you'll like the way this book ends, and that you might want to continue the adventure by reading mine and Sheena's second book in this series, which is, of course, called Fred, Wizard in Trouble, which gives a bit of a hint as to what might be going on. And it's available now. So, without further ado, here is chapter 13 of Fred, Wizard in Training. Chapter 13. Merlin addressed the crowd. Everyone stood attentively, gazing back at him with awe. His wise, dazzlingly turquoise eyes shone out from the stage. They met Fred's, and a kind smile spread across his face. He winked at the young wizard. Fred felt a happy warmth rush over him. After adjusting the brim of his purple hat, the old wizard stroked his magnificent white beard that glistened in the afternoon light. He cleared his throat. Finally, the old wizard spoke.
Today we have witnessed something quite remarkable. Something just as magnificent and spellbinding as the greatest magic this world has ever seen. A true triumph. For today we have seen courage overcome fear, seen spirit conquer doubt, and witnessed hope vanquish despair. A young wizard, undervalued and trodden down, has proven to us all the power of endeavour, of determination, of the desire to prove one's worth and to chase one's dreams. He's reminded us of the most important principles we should hold steady in our hearts. And finally, he's shown to us the power of compromise, negotiation, and the value in tricky times of bacon, leek, and cheese-flavoured crisps. The crowd cheered with delight. They lifted Fred up, allowing him to surf on a wave of hands towards the stage. The legendary wizard embraced his young admirer and presented him with a trophy, a golden wand and half a lizard's tail. Fred smiled warmly out at the crowd, secretly thinking to himself just how naff the trophy looked. But it didn't matter. He felt happy. Merlin whispered in his ear, "You should be very proud, Fred. What you've achieved is very special. Being a wizard is about more than wandcraft and magic tricks. It's about being brave and clever and thinking on your feet. You've proved that to us all today. I hope you realise what a marvellous young wizard you really are."
"Thanks, Merlin," Fred smiled. "I think I'm beginning to."
"I'm looking forward to our lesson, you know. Perhaps you can teach me a thing or two," Merlin said kindly.
"I doubt it," Fred laughed, "but who knows what might happen." When the ceremony was over, after he'd shaken hands with his new admirers in the crowd, posed for photos, retold his story until his lips moved independently of his brain, Fred finally rejoined Marvin and his family. It was the closest they'd been for as long as any of them could remember. "Right then," Fred's father said, looking up at the darkening sky. "We'd better be getting home. What time's your bus, Fred? We'll come back with you." Fred smiled. "It's okay," he said. "You go on home. Marv will keep you company."
"You sure?"
Fred's mother asked. "Sure." "See you at home then," Wilbert said. "See you." Fred's family clipped their fingers and vanished as one. As the two best friends walked to the bus stop, Fred suddenly remembered he hadn't bought a return ticket. He hadn't believed he would be coming back. Marv," he asked, frustrated, "can I borrow some money? I need another bus ticket." "Of course," his friend replied. "Hang on, I'll find you some change." "Thanks. Mine fell out of my pockets during the competition. With all the scrambling around, it just disappeared like that," Fred explained, clicking his fingers. And for the first time ever, quite to his surprise, Fred vanished into thin air, arriving home a moment later. Marvin stopped searching for change and laughed. He clicked his fingers and disappeared too. That night, Fred lay on his bed. He felt exhausted from the competition and his body ached all over, but despite his best efforts, his mind just wouldn't switch off. He kept reliving the day's events, his panic at waking up late, his family's attempts to talk him out of leaving, the beautiful but nervous bus journey to death's door, his first terrifying sight of the lizard, the feel of its tail, the strange conversation in the cave, the relief, joy and wonder he'd felt at finishing safely, and of course meeting Merlin, his and everyone's hero. For what felt like the first time in his life, he was looking forward to seeing what his future might bring. As he stared up at the ceiling, he smiled. How strange it was to think that when he'd woken this morning in this very same bed, he hadn't known whether he'd ever lie in it again. How strange to think that he bought a one-way ticket because he thought he wouldn't need the bus ride home, and then it turned out to be true, but for a very different reason. And it hadn't been a fluke. He tried a few more times just to be sure. Now he really could travel by clicking his fingers. For the first time, Fred actually felt excited by magic, now that he had his lesson with Merlin to look forward to. Yes, Fred thought as he closed his sleepy eyes, it has been a very strange day indeed. Very strange, but very magical. So that is the end of Fred, Wizard in Training. Thank you once again for coming along for the ride, watching these silly videos. I hope you enjoyed Fred's adventure, and I hope you'll return to Fred's story by reading the next book in the series, which is Fred, Wizard in Trouble, written by me, illustrated again by the marvellous Sheena Dempsey, and published by Simon & Schuster Children's Books. If you want to find out more about the book, head to my website and keep an eye on me for more updates. All the best, take care, hopefully see you soon.